Hi everybody, it's Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au and this is Hotspot of the Week. Early this week I wrote a column for Property Observer in which I said that it's time for everyone to start noticing the regions in terms of real estate markets. And earlier this afternoon I did an interview with ABC Radio out of Melbourne in which we discussed what's going on in property markets in regional Victoria in stark contrast to what's happening in the capital city. And that's the key point. Right now, undoubtedly, markets are winding down in our two biggest cities, but mainstream media is incorrect when it extrapolates that downturn across the whole of Australia and talks about prices falling everywhere. It's not even true of Melbourne and Sydney, let alone the rest of Australia. And right now, in our two most populous states, while the capital city markets, generally speaking, past their peak and are winding down. It's not true of the fringe areas where the most affordable housing are, but generally speaking, they're in a wind down. But the regional areas of Victoria and New South Wales have been rising strongly and continue to. And right now, I believe that the strongest growth markets to be found in Australia in regional Australia. So today I'm going to talk about one such, and it's in New South Wales, and it's Orange, the regional city of Orange, which is a very nice place. I've visited there a number of times, great place to visit. I know people who have lived there for parts of their lives, and so it's a great place to live. And increasingly, people out of Sydney are showing interest in Orange as an affordable place to live and work. There's a lot going on there, as we'll discuss in a moment. It's not too far from Sydney, and property prices are just a fraction of the capital. Median house price at the moment is about $390,000 in Orange, and median price for units and townhouses is about $250,000. So compared to Sydney, about 270 kilometres down the road, very affordable place. But the key thing is there's a lot going on. There are a lot of jobs in Orange, a lot of diversity to the economy, and that's one of the key things that we look for when we're talking about regional Australia. We're not looking for one-horse towns. We're not looking for locations that are dependent on the mining sector primarily or on agriculture fundamentally. We're looking for locations that have great diversity to their economy, because that makes them safe places to be, to live and to own real estate. And Orange certainly has that. So let's look at what we mean in terms of diversity. Orange has strong elements from the mining sector, has strong elements from the agricultural sector, but it's not dependent on any one of those sectors, because it's also very strong with government departments, strong in education, it's strong in health, strong in community services, and tourism. As I say, great diversity. The biggest single employment sector is health. We've got the Orange-based hospital, the Bloomfield Hospital, community mental health and other facilities. A few years ago, there was a $250 million redevelopment of the base hospital, and now there's a major project to do something with the old hospital facilities. A little bit more on that in a moment. Another major employer is Newcrest Mining. That's the nation's largest gold mining company. They've got the Cardia Hill, Cardia East and Ridgeway mines near Orange. Cardia East was built at a cost of $2 billion about 5 years ago, and Newcrest locally employs over 1,000 people. So that's a big part of the economy. Government agencies are also very significant. The New South Wales State Department of Primary Industries has its state headquarters in Orange, as well as a research station. And then there are also other major government employers such as the Traffic Authority, Department of Lands, Department of Sport and Recreation, Department of Corrective Services. They all have a big presence and are all major employers in the regional city of Orange, which I probably forgot to mention has a population of around 40,000. So it's a substantial town. Education is big. Charles Sturt University has a campus there, and so does the University of Sydney, which has its School of Rural Health in Orange. TAFE Western has 4 campuses there, and there are also 2 aviation schools in Orange. Orange is a well-known fruit growing district, and it produces apples, pears and many stone fruits such as cherries, peaches, apricots and plums. And for me, it's worth living there just for that reason alone. Now, grapes are widely grown, and Orange has a thriving wine industry, over 30 cellar doors there. Orange is also a freight hub, and it's got a significant airport and with regular flights to Sydney as well as to Brisbane. And recent upgrades to the airport resulted in the number of passengers through Orange Airport per year lifting from 60,000 in 2017 financial year to 70,000 in the most recent financial year. Tourism is a big part of the economy. Orange gets about 700,000 visitors a year. So all these different things going on: education, tourism, agriculture, wine, government departments, gold mining, and the health sector. The health sector is important because, as is often the case for major regional cities like Orange, when people retire in the wider district, the smaller towns may be within 100 or 200 kilometres of a major regional centre like Orange, they tend to move into the regional centre to be close to the medical services, and Orange certainly offers that. A couple of major hospitals, and it attracts retirees for that region. So against that backdrop, the property market is solid. It's one of those solid places that tends to produce steady growth rather than boom markets. But in the last 12 months, it's been very strong. Most research sources will tell you that Sydney house prices overall have dropped a little in the last 12 months or have grown only marginally. Whereas in Orange, the median house price is up 10% in the last 12 months, and it's now about 390,000. Yields are pretty strong, as they often are in regional centres, much stronger than the capital cities. Typical yields in Orange are somewhere in the range of 4.5% to 5%, so much better than Sydney, not too far down the road. And one of the things that's happening to helping to make the Orange property market prosperous is that it's just been seen increasingly, particularly by young professionals, as an affordable and attractive alternative to Sydney. They can earn similar money to Sydney, but the cost of living is much lower and the cost of housing is significantly lower. Like the median price for houses is about a third of that in Sydney. So what we're told is that education and health professionals transferred to the region, maybe originally planning for it to be temporary, but they like it, so they stay long term. It's also with the evolution of the internet, it's easy to work remotely, and more people are basing themselves on places like Orange and doing that. Don't need to be in the capital city as much as before for a lot of people, depending on what you do for a job. So we've seen healthy rises in house prices in the last 12 months, about 10%. Rents have also been rising, plenty of demand for rentals. Rents generally are about 15% higher than they were 3 years ago. And part of the reason for that is the vacancy rate is usually low, and currently it's about 1.5%. So we always look at what's coming up in the future. That's the key factor we look for in markets, any market really. It's not so much about the present, it's about the future. And Orange certainly has plenty coming up. I mentioned how important health and medical services are for this economy, and with people retiring from the broader region. And we had that major upgrade of the base hospital a few years ago, and now work has begun on the new Bloomfield Medical Centre. Now that's a $55 million project. The first building is going to be completed next year, and then they'll start on the next stage after that, creating about 500 jobs during construction. And when it's completed, the new facility will employ about 150 people. So it's significant for a whole lot of reasons. Now, there's been quite a lot of work gone into what they're going to do with the old Orange Base Hospital, and it's now decided it's going to become a new home for government departments like the New South Wales State Department of Primary Industries and a number of others. And when that's all done, about 700 staff is going to move in there. So that and a whole lot of other things coming up in the future of Orange, including a a master plan community called Shirley Village, which is a $500 million project, and various other smaller infrastructure projects that are just generally going to lift the local economy and keep it solid. So that's the regional city of Orange. It's one that I've followed for many years, a place I've visited and liked. It's spectacular in autumn. Good place to live, so I'm told. It's certainly a good place to visit. Got a lot going on, a lot to offer visitors, but I think it's got a lot to offer people who live there. And increasingly, as I said at the beginning, it's been seen as an attractive and affordable alternative to the capital city. And that's one of the key factors that driving regional markets, not just this one, but in other parts of New South Wales and in other parts of regional Victoria in particular. The property market boom in the two big cities has rippled out to the regions, but the regional cities like Orange and others have their own reasons to grow, and they're creating jobs and good places to be. So I commend Orange to you. If you'd like to find out more, go to the hotspotting.com.au website and check out our location report on Orange and many other places in regional New South Wales and indeed across Australia. Okay, that's it for now. Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au signing off. We'll do this again same time next week.